discussed about the variable force and the work done by the variable force. Let us apply this concept to a problem and apply the parameters given and solve for the answer. This is given as example 4.6. Let me read. Variable force F is equal to kx square acts on a particle which is initially at rest. Calculate the work done during the displacement of the particle from x is equal to 0 meters to x is equal to 4 meters. Assume the constant k to be equal to 1 Newton per meter square. So, if you see this, it says variable force kx square. So, variable force kx square, and the formula also, the problem also says k is constant and the value is just 1 Newton per meter square. And therefore, this is something to do with work done by the variable force. Let us write the formula. It is integral r initial to r final f cos theta dr. This is what is the formula. So, let us see whether all these parameters are given here. The force F is given and this is your variable force, and that is a function of x, because it is kx square and the displacement is from 0 to 4 along the x direction. And therefore, the direction of the force and the direction of displacement is along x. Therefore, I can write the whole thing in terms of x. So, f of x is given as kx square, and therefore, I can write the work done to be equal to f of x dx integration x initial to x final, because it is given as x is equal to 0. So, x I in this particular case is 0 meter and x final or the final position is 4 meter along x. So, therefore, I can say this variable force f of x. So, let us substitute various values pertaining to this equation. So, f of x is kx square. So, integration between initial position xi to final position kx square dx. K is already said to be a constant. So, I can take it out of this integration. So, k integral initial position which is given as 0 meter and the final position which is given as 4 meters x square dx. So, it becomes very simple. Integrating it, it is x cube by 3. So, x cube by 3 between the limits 0 to 4. Substitute. So, k is given as 1 and therefore, I can say 1 multiplied by what is 64 by 3. Therefore, 1 into 64 by 3, which can be written as 64 by 3. What is the expression for work done? So, joules. So, in this problem, for the given situation, we were able to identify what is the nature of the variable force and appropriately substitute and then integrate and get the answer. So, by doing all these conceptual problems, so one thing we have to keep in mind, first when the problem is given, read it carefully and try to understand whether it is to do with constant force or a variable force, what is the nature of the force or what type of the force, and what is the kind of displacement it is making, and what is the angle between the two, and appropriately understand and extract these information from the problem and substitute in the appropriate equation to get the answer.